I'm recording this video to mention some tiny little changes that you can make. I've got a few questions before I tell something that I wanted to tell in this video. And first question is, what really happened in your life? And how much contented you are? And what kind of steps and strategies are you really taking for making your life go beyond your expectation, or perhaps just to match the expectation of your life? These are all some questions that I want you to ask yourself, because you're living in a fast track life and you don't have time to look back and see whether you are really living the life of your expectation. When you were a student, you had plenty of dreams, you had lots of aspirations, you had expectations, and you really had dreams attached with your family. And those dreams and those aspirations and all those factors that were into your mind, which is right now into the junk house of your mind because of your current profession. 13% of the current youngsters are working in the profession that they really love. Rest, the major portion of it, are living in something, or just working in a profession which they are enforced to, they are pushed into. Which category you belong to? And if you are belonging to the latter category, that is the segment of people who are working by forcing, by enforcement, by pushing themselves into that scenario, if you are in that category, what are the changes you are going to make? Because you can't, continue doing the same for a long time. And when you look back your life, major segment of your life is being eaten up. Have you ever thought about it? I want all the students to think about it. If you go to engineering colleges, arts colleges, schools, people are obsessed with the idea of getting a job in the future. The thinking is very primitive. When you ask them, they try to answer a question. For the sake of answering the question, they say that I need to go for a job and I need to fund my family and I need to ensure my family is in good shape. Perhaps, and then I'll look for a business to be started. If you are looking for purpose in life, if you are having clarity, you will find the purpose. That's what we read in all the self-improvement books, right? So I'm not going to speak something like that is written in self-improvement books, because I'm much lesser than that caliber. I'm an ordinary person talking to you, thinking about some practical questions that I want you to ask. The first question is, if we ask you to do a job that you are not doing for somebody else and you are doing only for yourself and for the eternal happiness that you have because of doing that job, what would that job be? In which industry? You may be an engineering graduate, arts graduate, MBA graduate. The job that you love to do would be sometimes be very close to the kind of aspiration we have. Sometimes it would not be having any sort of connectivity with the graduation that we have. So my question is, what would be the job like if you start doing that just because you love the job? That's the first question. Well, I would like to be a service-oriented person. I would like to start an agency. I would like to start a consultancy group. I would like to start a production company. I would like to start this, that. This could be anything. Just for the frame of thinking. We are not just going to jump into it, and we are not going to endanger our current job and just to get into that. We are just going to start thinking or start planning, which is the first step. Second question is, what is the good skill that you have, or what is that one particular trait that you have right now is really forcing you to think like that? For example, if you feel that I can start up my own tiny software company, being an IT engineer, or if you're a mechanical engineer, I would like to start up my own motor setting enterprise. I would like to take up some motors and I would like to really do some troubleshooting in the motors, and I would like to help. I would like to do something in this automobile industry. Being a BCom graduate, I would like to go to some small scale companies and I would like to give them some accounts advice, maybe some advice that's related to the finance, maybe some advice that's related to the investment, because I think I have this muscle of investment management. So you take these three people, one IT engineer, one mechanical engineer, and a BCom student, BCom graduate, sorry. So these three people have got dreams. Just imagine that these three people are already working in an organization, but they have a different dream. They want to do something, right, in the respective field. I'm pretty sure that those people will have this level of happiness when they think about this idea of being a freelancer with total amount of freedom, right? What makes them to think that they are really good? What makes them to think that I can do it? I think I have a muscle on it. I think I can, you know, bank on it. There should be one skill or couple of skills which are really making them think like that. What is that? A BCom graduate who thinks that he can do something with finance is really having some skill in numbers. So there's one skill that is attached behind thinking. So the person has to identify the skill and the person has to give life to the skill. Third thing, what are all the improvements that you're supposed to make for calling yourself as a freelancer or calling yourself as a person who is doing the job that you really like the job 24 bar 7, 7 days in a week. If you like to do the job that you really like, not depending upon anyone, not being connected with anyone, but enjoying the level of freedom of a freelancer and enjoying doing the job that your heart desires. What are all the improvements you're supposed to make in your character, in your behavior, in your skill set, in your strength levels, and most importantly, in your emotional intelligence? Because currently you might be working in a company which is really paying you on a reasonable basis for taking care of the family household and plenty of other stuff. You know, the regular things that we need to take care when we have started becoming an earning member. All of a sudden, putting all of them back into the shelf and coming out of it is not easy. It requires enormous amount of guts because I always say business and freelancing are not for light-hearted people. They are only for the gladiators. You got to be very strong. You got to push yourself into the limits that you have never pushed into, and you need to think beyond. So the third thing is, what are the improvements that I need to make? The third step is something that you are supposed to do by getting intact with the current job that you have, right? Don't endanger your job. Fourth question or fourth thing that we need to think about is, what are all the other people who are already doing in that business involved in it? Learning some lessons from those people who are really doing good. So you are supposed to take some lessons out of those people. So I basically believe if you take these four steps and if you're really working hard, I think you can be assured of taking a new dimensional step in your life, and you can feel contented that you are really doing something that nobody else in your family has done. If there are already business people in the family, fine, okay, right, I totally agree. But what you are doing right now is completely different from what they have been doing. As a businessman, what they have been doing is quite different from what right now you are doing, because you are studying the market and then you are getting into it. So let's take a quick recap, shall we? The first step is identify what you're really liking, which area of business or which area of line of industry you would like to contribute in as a freelance oriented person. Second thing is, what is that one skill that is pushing you to think like this, and identify that skill and give life to that skill. Third thing is, you need to find out what are the things that you need to improve upon. So there are plenty of scope of improvement, and people who are already doing it, they're also always looking for going to the next level. So what are the improvements you are supposed to make? Because you have been working as a salaried professional so far. If you want to take your life to the next level and you need to do something, then you have to make a lot of self-analysis and find out what are all the things that you're supposed to improve upon. And the fourth thing is, the players in the market who are already in that business unit, who are already in that line, you're supposed to make a study over these people, right? Do these four things, you'll get a proper idea, and then you will have a natural urge and a self-motivation for pursuing a wonderful career in that line. I have a dream that many youngsters start doing like this. I wish youngsters sit for planning of this sort, and they start showing their fullest potential into that industry that they are choosing. I think we can convert the entire nation into various you know get into various attributes of development, and we can see lots of revolution happening, lots of thought revolution and career revolution happening if this simple step has been taken over. Maybe you can try that. If you find this entire piece of 10-minute video not very much effective, then you should be having a better idea than mine. If you are really finding it effective, then go for it.